Good afternoon. My name is Andy Hallman. Later, we'll hear about the Washington track teams sweeping their SEC meet. But first, today's top stories. On a bluff nestled between a small cornfield and the Iowa River, a few miles southeast of Riverside, members of the Salem Church of God hosted a low-key service on Sunday at a spiritual site that predates Scripture itself. The location, known as Graveyard Point, was used as a burial ground thrice in the last 3,000 years. First for mound-building indigenous people, then for pre-Columbian Native Americans several hundred years ago, and eventually for a family of white settlers who died in 1855 and 1856, according to their epitaphs. The burial mounds themselves have carefully layered soil types, the religious meaning of which has been lost to history, according to Washington County historian Michael Zaz. The site is also an active habitat for pileated woodpeckers with a gorgeous view of the surrounding wilderness. A caravan of 27 cars traveled from Salem Church of God at 9 a.m. to meet at the location, which is on private property and usually closed to the public. Some guests rode up the steep hill in a tractor-pulled trailer, while others hiked a grassy path on foot to reach the service, accompanied by live music from the Great Bluegrass Herons. By 10 a.m., dozens of voices could be heard from atop the hill near the Johnson-Louisa-Washington County lines, singing hymns accompanied by banjos and an upright bass. Attendees used lawn chairs in place of pews, while speakers preached from behind a lightweight podium carried up the slope. Minutes before the service began, lay pastor Nathan Brown said he could feel a distinct energy in the air, as he did at the last such heritage service several years ago. Johnson County Historical Preservation Commission is hosting a Pioneer Day and Crafters Show at Waterworks Park in Fairfield on Saturday, May 18th. The event will raise money to preserve and rebuild the Bonifield cabin at the adjacent Old Settlers Park. The cabin is famous for being the oldest two-story log house in Iowa, built in 1838. The Pioneer Day and Crafters Show will run all day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and feature food trucks, historical demonstrations, a pie eating contest, and handmade craft vendors. The event is free, and attendees are asked to make a free will donation. Glenn Ham of the Jefferson County Historical Preservation Commission said the group is doing this fundraiser because the cabin needs a new foundation and some of its logs need to be replaced. In fact, they're planning on dismantling the cabin and rebuilding it. Because this work requires special care, the commission has hired a professional cabin restoration company to do it. In addition to making the needed repairs, the company will also rotate the cabin 180 degrees so it faces the road leading into Waterworks Park. One of the fun things planned for kids during the fundraiser is a pretzel log cabin building exercise, where kids get to build a log cabin from pretzel rods and frosting. The activity is for kids aged 3 to 8, accompanied by an adult. For the duration of May and June, Mount Pleasant Arts Impacts Gallery, located in the Mount Pleasant Public Library, will channel the liveliness of spring with its latest artist display featuring the colorful and whimsical nature-inspired work of painter and illustrator Erin Cartle. Burlington native Cartle always dreamed of becoming a full-time, independent working artist. Her passion for creating art began in her childhood and greatly influenced her career path in adulthood. Less than 3 years after graduation, she established Cartle Art, where she fulfills her dream as a full-time artist. Graduating from Southeast Community College in May 2015, Cartle didn't miss a beat as she dove into graphic and web designs. Working independently as an artist, Cartle took the leap to work more independently in this design as she continued her 10-year career in the field. In addition to creating artwork and designing, Cartle's resume also includes illustrating professionally. As she makes her way in life pursuing her passion, she continues to expand her creative mediums, including acrylic paint, oil paint, wax pastels, oil pastels, printmaking, ceramics, and digital illustration. Most recently, she added a fun side project of creating fan art stickers, which she sells on Etsy, along with illustration prints, bookmarks, and other artwork. Much like the art she sells through her Etsy shop, Cartel's art displayed at the Mount Pleasant Arts Impact Gallery displays her work inspired by plants and nature, warm nostalgic feelings, prints, and patterns, much like her website describes her overall artistic aesthetic. Waco High School has placed in the top 40% of high schools in the nation and the state of Iowa in the latest U.S. News and World Report high school ranking list. The recognition is based on data from the 2021-22 school year, according to the organization's methodology page. While the school was ranked 183 in the state for its 94% graduation rate and number 82 for its proficiency rank, a metric evaluating its state assessment scores when controlling for students' socioeconomic status put the high school at number 7 in Iowa. Combined with the other data used for the rankings, U.S. News and World Report pegged Waco as the 64th best high school of the 353 evaluated across the Hawkeye State. While that may not seem stellar at first glance, it's an overperformance for the 148-member student body, placing it well above larger nearby districts like Mount Pleasant, coming in at number 133, Fairfield at number 177, and Washington placed in a shared rank for schools from 219 to 317. And it places above some high schools in more metropolitan areas like Cedar Rapids George Washington High School at number 179 and Sioux City East High School of number 67. Principal Tim Bartels said the recognition was a surprise and a welcome one. The impressive performance could make Waco more attractive to open enrollment students and even to families thinking about where to live, according to the principal. It was also a major boost for morale. Asked about how the small school pulled off such a feat, Bartels said it was a matter of district and building culture. The principal conceded that the explanation was a bit cliche, but said staff and student attitudes were key to meeting goals set for curriculum improvements, internal communication, state assessment performance, and myriad other objectives around the building. Washington County Board of Health members voted 4-0 last Thursday afternoon to postpone the appointment of a new Washington County Public Health Director. The decision came after a closed session authorized by a section of Iowa Code which excludes the public from meetings that discuss individuals' competency and qualifications in an effort to prevent harm to their reputations. That closed session lasted for over an hour. County health officials said they'd sent out reference checks for 3 candidates on Friday the week prior, but had not heard back from all parties involved. Board of Health Chair Andrea Leiden said she likes to have at least 3 references for each candidate, but had not received them and thus asked for more time. Thursday was the latest in a string of delays as the county seeks to replace former Public Health Director Emily Tokheim, who in February resigned to take a state-level job in Des Moines closer to her family. The initial job application window ended March 1st, but was extended to March 21st after only 2 candidates put their names in the hat. After a series of job interviews in April, health board members said they were still undecided between 3 applicants referred to as candidates A, B, and C, and wanted to reach out for reference checks. The board now plans to meet again on May 16th, hoping the extra time will be enough to complete those checks. Those are today's top stories. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll hear about the Washington track teams sweeping the SEC meet.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Welcome back to Newsbreak, everyone. This is your sports editor, Andy Kretzinger, with your sports report for Tuesday, May 7th of the year 2024. And it is a busy week in spring sports, so bear with me. I'm going to try and go fast here. We're going to start with a little track. Southeast Conference track meet was in Fort Madison on Thursday night, and we have a double champion in the Washington Demons. Washington boys win their fourth straight conference championship, beat Fort Madison by 5 points, a very, very close race in that one. And on the girls' side, Washington ousts defending champion at Mount Pleasant. Washington scored 173 in the girls' meet. Huge night for the Demons. Run through some winners here in the SEC. Micah Reese is a triple winner. Sprint medley, distance medley, and Alec Ewan on the boys' side. On the girls' side, Leighton Messenger won a couple of events there, the 400 hurdles and the high jump. Jaden Moore in the 200-meter dash, Irerstal in the 400 and 800, and the distance med and shuttle hurdle for Washington wins. For Mount Pleasant, we just had winners on the girls' side. Alex Scott in the 100-meter dash, Bailey Jalis in the long jump. The 4x1, 4x2, and sprint medley all win for the Panthers. And for the Fairfield Trojans, we got one each. Ryan Giberson wins the boys' high jump, and Lily Bergeron takes the 100-meter hurdles for the girls. All those teams will now be at Maple Leaf Athletic Complex on Thursday for the state qualifier. We also had conference championships at Waco for the Southeast Iowa Super Conference. That is a lot of stuff to go through. So read Hunter Muller's story online for full results of that one. Read my story online for full results of the SEC meet as we jump on to a little bit of golf. And the SEC boys meet was on Wednesday, last Wednesday at this point. We might have talked about this on Thursdays, but just running through, Washington is your champion in boys golf, Fairfield second, and Mount Pleasant third. Roman Roth was your individual champion for Washington. Got the top five scores on that one. The girls will be in Keokuk tomorrow at Elks Fairview Golf Course. Starts at 9 a.m. That is the Southeast Conference Championship on the girls' side, and it is going to be competitive. Everyone's kind of beaten everyone in the SEC this year. A lot of close scores, so that could be a really fun one. Also in golf, the Super Conference boys tournament was held last week. Winfield Mount Union 4th, Van Buren County 5th, Hillcrest Academy 7th, Columbus 9th, New London 11th, Highland 13th, and Waco 15th. And last night, we had a championship out of the Highland Huskies on the girls' side in the Super Conference. Highland shoots 380 to beat New London by 382. But New London's Taylor Phillips still won that thing by 7 strokes individually, 15 strokes over third place, so a dominant individual championship for her. They will be getting into state qualifying stuff tomorrow, Wednesday. Now, let's jump over to a little bit of tennis. And yesterday was a huge day on the tennis circuit. We had some state qualifiers on the girls' side at Fairfield Middle School. In the singles tournament, Jana Santavilla of Mount Pleasant, who's been dominating all year, Winfield Mount Union, exchange student from Spain to Winfield Mount Union, plays for Mount Pleasant. She wins the championship 6-1, 6-1. And who'd she beat? Ashita Mukodam of Fairfield Maharishi, who also gets a ticket to state. Top two make it in tennis. So first place and second place, Santa and Mukodam will both be going to the state championships in Waterloo. And in doubles, we had a couple from Maharishi, Riel Tinsky-Ross and Opera Jita Kalra of Maharishi actually beat Fairfield's number one doubles team of Winland and Yaminer to get there in the semifinals. They did fall in 3 sets in the championship, but those two will also be at the state individual meet, the doubles meet. Team stuff will happen later this week. Tennis is a little confusing, but there will also be some boys district tennis tomorrow in Fairfield, and Fairfield Maharishi will be there, as will Mount Pleasant as will the hosting Trojans, and they will welcome in Assumption, Davis County, Fort Madison, Keokuk, Oskaloosa, and Cedar Rapids Xavier. Will have state qualifiers come out of that, and then that will also play into the team tournament, which will happen later in the week. We'll get into the team tournaments, the knockout rounds, the brackets, all that stuff. Quick run through in soccer. Burlington Greyhounds beat Fairfield last night 10-0. They go undefeated in the SEC soccer slate. They finished first with the 10-0 record. Fort Madison second after beating Mount Pleasant 7-0 last night in girls soccer. Mount Pleasant finishes third. And then right now there's still a few games to play, but Washington fourth, Keokuk fifth, and Fairfield sixth. On the boys' side, a win from Fort Madison over Mount Pleasant 5-1 last night, and a 7-0 win for Washington over Keokuk last night. Sets up a huge game tomorrow as Washington plays Fort Madison. Those two teams both have one loss in the conference. That is a monster one. And then Fairfield almost beat the other team that only has one loss in the conference. They went to play Burlington. They lost 1-0. We also have the Southeast Iowa Super Conference tournament happening. That's going to wrap up in Waco this weekend. First round starts today. We also have that bracket on our website, southeastiowaunion.com. And that's it for the sports. A busy week of sports. But the show's not over because when we come back to Newsbreak, Alex will have your obituaries.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast
Hello and
Iowa.
welcome back to Newsbreak. It is now time for your obituaries. Sue Ann Thomas of Westchester passed away on May 2nd at the age of 84. Funeral mass will be at 10:30 a.m. on May 14th at the St. Joseph Catholic Church. Myron Lynn Stoner of South English passed away on April 30th at the age of 75. Celebration of life was held May 6th at the Powell Funeral Home in North English. Caroline Jean Edwards of West Lasso, Texas passed away on March 21st at the age of 84. A celebration of life will be held on May 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Longview Lodge. Karen Irene Phillips of Fairfield passed away on May 1st at the age of 85. Randy Dodds of Ankeny passed away on May 1st at the age of 73. Memorial service will be held at 3 p.m. May 8th at the Olson Powell Chapel and Crematory. Anna Mae Underwood of Mount Pleasant passed away on May 1st at the age of 92. Mulaney Ann Mel Heckett-Thorne of Stockport passed away on April 30th at the age of 60. A celebration of life will begin at 7 p.m. on May 7th at the Cranston Funeral Home in Fairfield. Fred Rugg of Wayland passed away on May 4th at the age of 77. A celebration of life will be held at 11 a.m. May 14th at Independent Bible Church in Wayland. That is your news for Southeast Iowa. I've been your host, Alex Snyder. This has been your news break, and I will see you next time.